Majno. We're back again with Frank Gregory Ford for another episode of Global News Update on TLBTV, courtesy of the Liberty Beacon Project, where we bring you complete, backstage, and up-to-date info as to the developments occurring in our world today. How you doing from California, Greg? What's up?
Oh, hey, just the usual, just fury and anger, annoying. I would really like somebody to call in and give their comments on what I'm going to say tonight, all right?
Oh, good.
I really would. Call into the chat room and let me have your opinions, okay?
Or,
Because,
like leave us messages, write us emails. We've already had a couple, but everybody's being very quiet, I think. But it's good to learn, Let's get right to it, because I know you got some stuff to share with us.
okay.
I'm going to share screens with you, and we're going to start Snapshot this evening with one of my favorite quotes, and it's to make people think. It's to make people like lighten up, and to think like, wow, what's going on, in the world today. Well, look at this. The problem with the world, according to Charles, is that the intelligent people are full of doubts. The stupid people are full of confidence.
Well, there is something to that.
Yeah, I love that smile too. A word on gun control tonight. I thought this was really, really appropriate, and it's one of the best I've ever seen. Does a USB stick make that a hacker? Does a pocket knife make the person a slasher? Does the lighter make the person an arsonist? No. Inanimate objects do not cause crime. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. And this is the message that we're trying to get across very fast, actually, so that most people can wake up, because, guns, just like drugs, have gotten the bad rap. If guns kill people, then mechanics don't fix cars, wrenches do. Carpenters don't build houses, hammers do, and so on, and so on, and so on. So it's something to think about. The gun's not going to walk over to the bullet and put the bullet in it and go around and load itself and shoot by itself. It just doesn't happen. And you think more people would know that by now. And this is one of my favorites too. Defend a woman and she'll be safe for a day. Teach her how to defend herself and she'll be safe for a lifetime.
Well, that's pretty biblical.
This is what more women should be doing. Arming themselves and getting the education, getting the training, becoming really good at what they do. And a lot less problems would be happening in society, believe it or not. Everybody would be armed. Man, there wouldn't be any problem anywhere, I don't think. No, this is for the racists out there. I thought this was really good. Racist, your child needs blood to live, okay? Pick the white one. Pick the white one. Like the Native Americans would say, we're all one family. We're all one race. It's called the human race. There's no such thing as superiority at all, just sovereignty. But we'll get to that sometime.
By the way, the doctor who invented blood transfusions.
Yes.
All right, was a African American.
Right. You know how he died? How he died?
If I remember correctly, wasn't it a car crash?
Yes, he got into a car crash and he was bleeding a lot, and they wouldn't let him into the hospital because they said he was a nigger.
Boy, that's a commentary.
He's the one who invented blood transfusion, and I'm really sorry for the N-word, but I had to say it because that's the truth. That's why.
Boy, those must have been members of the master race who made that decision.
Right.
Great. Isn't that wonderful?
I'm going to keep going here. I love for people, if they're going to message us like we're telling everybody that we'd love to see them do, ask us about the NDAA. Ask us about, well, the next slide, actually. But this one here is really good because, it shows that we're all being imprisoned, and it's by our own will, really, because nobody's doing anything about it. And our rights are being taken away from us. Greg, look at this. the Bill of Rights, and every single one of them, you can check it out. Article 1, what is it? It's replaced by Occupy. Article 2, gun control. Article 3, asset forfeiture. Article 4, Patriot Act. Article 5, NDAA. Look into these things. Find out what's going on behind the scenes. The media is here to keep us occupied in front as they take care of something over here, or they take care of something over here. This is what they're doing. They're playing with us like kids who don't even know what's going on. Today in the news, very quickly, Native American tribes just announced bombshell lawsuit against Trump. Presidency scrambling. They're trying to figure out what's going on because of what he's doing as an oil tycoon and to, the United States as we know it, and to their land, to their stolen land. A quick note before we go. I love this one. Never remember. Take Xanax and don't question anything, and never remember anything. I got my book today, Greg.
All right.
I had to tell you, this was my surprise to you. I got my book today, and I had to take a picture for the show. I didn't realize it was such a big book, such a voluminous or whatever.
Yes, it is.
It's huge.
And everyone that watches this show, okay, everyone that watches should buy this book. It will inform you. That's what you read books for, is to be informed,
yes,
educated. And there is no way that you will ever trust anything the government ever says again after you read this book.
No,
all right?
Well, I don't need the government for that. I really don't. But we'll get back to that. What if, I want to paint a scenario very quickly before I go. What if police arrested the real criminals for drug smuggling, human trafficking, wars on profit, mass incarceration, pedophilia, illegal arms dealing, money laundering, and treason, and obstruction of justice? Wouldn't that be awesome? We're leaving a lot of them out, though. I'm sure we are. But it's something to think about. And we could actually base one show around every single one of these that we're doing, or more. To learn who rules over you, simply find out who are the ones you're not allowed to criticize.
Voltaire, my favorite philosopher.
I know. I'm not really sure if he wrote that, because a lot of sources that I'm finding are saying that he didn't. But is it really important if he did or not? It's not the messenger that's important, but it's the message.
The message.
So, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Greg, that's all I have for Snapshot today. So.
Okay. Well, I want everybody to know that I had a very interesting weekend. I had as a guest, I had Barbara Honegger, all right, who is the world's foremost expert, and she always is chagrined, as really true noble people are when you describe them like this. But she is the world's greatest expert on 9/11 and the strike on the Pentagon, all right? So if there's any questions about what struck the Pentagon, and it wasn't a great big passenger plane, folks, okay? And what brought the World Trade Center down? Oi, 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 okay, yes. And I had a question for her. Is the World Trade Center on the interior was painted with some of the finest deflecting flame paint, okay?
Right.
For lack of a better description, it's the Interlux Starlight. And funny thing was, this stuff really works. I've seen it demonstrated, and it stops flame from scorching and melting the strongest steel girders known to man ever produced, which were in the World Trade Center. And then we watched a very interesting biography on the World Trade Center, how it was designed, who designed it, what the philosophy was behind its construction.
Right.
Because it wasn't a weakness in the World Trade Center that caused it to collapse. It was an organized government plot in conjunction with the Saudis who paid for it, and it was the Israelis who designed, with the help of American engineers. I know, I was informed of the process of the the actual recombining, okay, of the thermite, okay, the sulfonated thermite.
Yeah.
All right. I was told and informed at a demolition school and course. All right. So, and they asked me at the same time, how did Timothy McVeigh design such a sophisticated bomb? All right, which brought down the Murrah building in Oklahoma City. And so what we have over the weekend was we were discussing that situation. And by the way, the person who was behind the Interlux Starlight issue with the World Trade Center was L. Paul Bremer. Okay, I know who L. Paul Bremer is because I am pushing to have him investigated behind the billions and billions, not stars, but American dollars that disappeared into the green zone, all right, on the Cyprus Express. Right. On the Cyprus Express. All right. So it was L. Paul Bremer who, and you can see him, he was diverted. He was supposed to have been in a meeting in the World Trade Center. That morning, he was redirected. He was redirected to an ABC interview where they sat and watched the second plane slam into the World Trade Center. All right. Does that sound like L. Paul Bremer? Okay. And by the way, Interlux is part of the Dresser Industries Corporation, and the Dresser Industries Corporation is owned by the Bush family. Who else? Who else is a big enough criminal to pull something like this off? Okay? And then because L. Paul Bremer did such a great job, all right, that they gave him the ambassadorship, Provost Marshal of Iraq, okay, where he continued to do a great job. And then because he ripped off so much of the taxpayers' billions of dollars, okay, and gave it to all our hired thugs, then on the issue of the Standing Rock protests,
yes,
I had, as another guest, I had Dan Sheehan and his wife, all right, Sarah. And Dan is protecting, was it Iron Eyes Cody? Okay.
Chase Iron Eyes?
Yes, Chase Iron Eyes. I'm sorry, Chase Iron Eyes is defending him now. And we had an interesting strategy about what's going on. Does anyone know that Donald Trump owns one of the construction companies that was cutting its way through? Does anybody know that? Mm-hmm. All right. And he has ordered the Department of Justice to prosecute something like 800 of the protesters. Does that outrage any of our listeners?
Oh, but not only that, there's also, isn't there something also about the Williston Basin?
Yes, and right? The Williston Basin too.
The right? Williston Basin, it's 3/4 of it is in the Dakotas, and a little bit in Montana as well. And it's one of the largest basins, if not, among the largest in the world. So it's, he stands to profit from that, and they just don't want anybody living there. So
that should outrage every single person listening to this show. All right, that was the only source of drinking water for those people, and then here comes the government. By the way, Obama was making a big deal out of approving that Keystone project, and funny, as soon as he's out of office, he grants approval of it. We've been sold down the road, people. All right, but that's not what's really bugging me. I'm used to our government pimping us out, treating us like a fat hog. That's what fat hogs get, is slaughtered, by the way, and that's what our government, our appointed officials, our elected officials are doing. Okay, so that doesn't have me annoyed. Okay, remember, underneath it all, I'm a trained physician, educated physician, both in naturopathic medicine and allopathic medicine. I couldn't stand the idea of having to face the prospect of having to try to save the life or prolong the life of some piece of human shit by the name of, say, for example, like Dick Cheney, okay, or Donald Rumsfeld, save their lives so they could perpetrate more disasters on the human race and their fellow Americans, those treasonous sons of bitches. So guess what? I retired. Well, it doesn't look like it did me any good, but I'm still getting outraged. Everybody know what Eli-Lilly is? Well, it's one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world, all right? Well, after watching these massacres, okay, from usually young people, young males, taking SSRIs and SAIOs, medical antidepressants, all right? What we have here is nonstop torture, nonstop disaster, nonstop massacre, okay? So Eli-Lilly has come up with something really great. Now, granted, they make something like 50,000% profit on their products, okay? Well, 50,000% profit. You don't believe me? Look it up. If you can find it, look it up. Mm-hmm. They don't make this stuff open to the public because they don't want any outrage. They don't want their executives getting their heads blown off, okay? Too bad, huh? All right? Well, just think about how those massacre victims and the families feel, okay? So what they have done now, and I want everybody to look this up, okay? They are already making massive amounts of money on the board of directors of these companies like Lilly. But what they have done now is they have come out with a program, okay? A program with all the phony baloney sincerity, about improving the quality of life for human beings. When I was a kid, first of all, I was too busy being a kid to think about being depressed, okay? But secondly, here's the deal. They have a program now for every single person in the United States, and you'd think, oh, this is beyond the comprehension, okay? No, they're going to make sure that everybody from the year of 2 years old to 85 years old is going to be on some kind of medication, all right?
Absolutely.
Some kind of meditation. You think I'm joking? Call your senator, call your congressman, and have them investigate if they're not already pimping you out to pay for it, all right? Yes, they are. They're going to do this, all right? That's it. 2 to 85, 2 to 82, basically cradle to grave, you're going to be doped up out of your mind. If you don't think you're already halfway there, go have your drinking water analyzed.
Yeah.
Anybody care to do that? It's already analyzed. Excuse me. It's already poisoned with industrial mining waste called fluoride. Pick up a tube of toothpaste and check it out. It is industrial waste. Okay. They should have gotten rid of it, properly. But no, of course, those clever little devils, most of them are lawyers, all right, said, hey, we can impress people like the Mr. Rockefeller, where it all started, and we can sell this. We can sell this, grind this stuff up, this poison, sell it. It's only a couple of grams in your system and makes it poison, and to show you how dangerous it is, you have some toothpaste, a certain type of toothpaste with a concentration of fluoride. Go ahead, put some on your toothbrush. If you don't spit it out, if you swallow it, you know what you're supposed to do. You better call the emergency room and get to the emergency room. Does anybody know that? Now, does that sound like a safe consumer product? No, it doesn't. It isn't, okay? But the thing is, it's supposed to sedate you. It doesn't stop cavities. It never has stopped cavities. If it stopped cavities, dentists would have been out of business a long time ago, all right? So what we have here, folks, is a compliant, pimped out, prostitute of a government, okay, and they are prostituting you. They got away after Bill Clinton was impeached, and he really wasn't impeached, okay? These maniacs in the neocon party said, hey, we can do anything. We can start wars. We can have phony, baloney, fake terrorist attacks, all right? And all we have to do is control the media, all right? So that brings us to us right now, right, Luca? Us, the alternate media. We are under attack. I don't even know if the show is going to make it, to the listeners, our listeners. We are under attack in a big way, the alternate media. Guess who's attacking us? The other 6 great big media corporations that are doing the bidding of all the kleptocracy business, okay? Don't think I'm telling you the truth. Check it out. As I always say, check it out. What has my recommendation been? Don't listen to, ABC, NBC, CNN. Okay, they have all these dramatic, notes and music and little hotties, telling you they adopt a serious look on their faces, those little hotties, like they're really comprehending what they're talking about. And guess what? You've heard me on your show, Luca, say, hey, Russia Today, RT, look it up, okay? Don't listen to anything but RT Today. I guarantee in 5 minutes, you'll actually learn something, okay? Whether it's what you want to believe or not, you'll learn something. What do you learn from watching CNN? All right, Wolf Blitzer, CNN, all right? I mean, it's ludicrous, but guess what? Our government has gotten the FCC to demand the Russia Today register as a foreign agent. What? What? I'm sorry. I mean, you think about that, folks. That means one thing. That means that they're losing business to Russia Today. And Russia Today learned, okay, a long time ago, they knew they were going to be attacked. They knew that they were going to have these greedy, nasty lobbyists, okay, on them, politicians on them. So what did they do? They said, how can we defend against this? Best way is to tell, this is really obscure and an obtuse theory. They said, we're going to tell the truth on our show, our new show. Tell the truth. Can you imagine the outrage that this has caused? Well, you're seeing it, folks. All right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, and by the way, yes, the CIA was raided by a Marine Corps Expeditionary Force, all right? A Marine Corps Expeditionary Force. I used to be with the Marines, okay? I was a corpsman, all right? As they say, the best part about the Corps is the corpsman, okay? I have it on the back of my car. That's what it says. But hey, they kicked the doors in to Langley, walked across the big tile floor that, Central Intelligence Agency, the one that piece of human trash, George H.W. Bush, is standing on, okay? The one that he wasn't really in charge of, the one that he wasn't representing when he had the head blown off of our presidential President Kennedy, okay? Where he was when the CIA decided that it was good business to start selling drugs to pad their budget, when they got the compliant government to go along on every single black budget that they have.
Yeah, okay. And the list is endless. The list is endless. The list is endless.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We would never run out of material in any show that we did if we did shows like this for the rest of our life. We wouldn't. And Greg, remind me. No, you don't have to remind me. I got it written right here. I was writing notes. On the next show, since we're not talking about pipelines anymore and oil spills, I'd like to talk about Trans-Canada Pipeline whistleblower Ivan Vokes and what he had to say after being in the top execs of Trans-Canada Pipeline, / Enbridge. There's no difference. So that's going to be on the next show in Snapshot.
Great. I'm looking forward to it. But remember, that's how desperate we are. That's how desperate shape we are in.
Yes.
All right? Stop watching CNN. Listen to Russia Today. Call your congressman and say, listen, you piece of shit. You piece of, pimped out shit. Okay? Understand this. You will not be in your gravy train prostitute job if you vote for these bills. If you allow pharmaceutical companies to not only dictate from cradle to grave, all right, but guess what else the pharmaceutical companies want to do to you, all right? Hey, it makes doing a turn in hard time look like a vacation, okay, in prison, doing a hard time in prison. Eli-Lilly wants to have a special tax, and it looks like you're going to get it. We're all going to get it, a special tax, all right, that will be levied on everybody, okay, everyone, okay, that has a pay number that's working to pay for all the medications for those people who can't afford to pay for these antidepressants.
Right.
See what I mean? Hey, okay, let's put a stop to this. Okay, let's put a stop to it right now. Jesse Ventura, okay? He should be and will be the next president. Can you imagine anybody being as stupid and wimpy like Obama or Trump? Okay, and we're on the edge of a war right now that nobody can figure out. Okay, like pretty much like the terrorist material, and the terrorism that we've lived with. Okay, so Jesse Ventura, who's been in combat, he doesn't find anything romantic about it like Donald Trump does. Okay, he understands. You think he likes Hillary Clinton? Okay, who's busy crapping her pants right now and having convulsions because of all the drugs she's taken and all the radiation that she got from her husband trying to kill her. Okay, gee, that would have made a great president, right? So here's the deal. And guess who gave the big pharmaceutical companies and the bankers absolute carte blanche to rip you off, to rip off the soldiers. 30,000 soldiers lost their homes when they came back from the Iraq War. Okay, Hillary Clinton made it possible. Geez, okay, how much more of this doom and gloom can I tell you, folks, before you get off, your duffs and go call your worthless senators, your worthless congressmen, and tell them no more gravy train. That's it, no more gravy train. And we're going to vote somebody like Jesse Ventura in, who has a set of cojones, brass set, by the way. Okay, and we get our goddamn country back. Okay, we get our country back. All right.
I think it should be explained to people that don't really understand it, even though people that didn't understand it wouldn't be really watching shows like this. But I like to simplify it by explaining what it'd be like to have one company with a really, really, really crooked CEO, and he makes all the decisions, right? So everybody underneath him doesn't dare say anything because they don't want to lose their job, or they're just, for some reason, they're not saying anything. The 99% don't say anything. The crooked guy continues, and every single decision he makes is either crooked or wrong. And this is exactly what we're living now. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is exactly what we're living.
You and I was told when I checked with my legal counsel about my case and the fact that I was tortured, abducted. Everybody says, yeah, we've heard this before. Well, I didn't tell you is that the head of the Supreme Court said, look, in a written response, he said, look, I don't make a decision until the government tells me to.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, gee, great, wonderful. So much for an independent legal body. I'll tell you what, if Jesse doesn't run, I'll run. Everybody, I'll run. And the first thing I'm going after is our court system, make-believe court system that it's turned into. Okay, I got this from Dan Sheehan over the weekend. Yeah. What a monstrosity we've turned into. He's one of this country's top lawyers and pursued and prosecuted several cases. And he said, you won't believe, the public doesn't see what a bunch of pimped out whores our politicians have become.
This
All right?
is why we have to work it out as fast as we can and get as many people on board as we can. Greg, last notes, last thoughts?
Well, I think everybody understands how I feel, all right? And I think they agree. Unless you actually believe that the Leave No Imbecile Behind education program worked, okay, you know something's really wrong. When the military has to kick the doors in of an intelligence agency, albeit the agency that has always been in the oligarch's pocket, okay, selling drugs, murdering, assassinating, blowing up World Trade Centers, blowing up buildings, taking our rights, okay? It was about time that the Marine Corps did it, by the way, and I applaud them. I wish I'd been there for that, okay? See those smug bureaucrats on their faces, all right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, they're the ones that said, oh, yeah, torture works, okay? You want to find out how well it works? Well, so that's my take on it, is this, is yes, if somebody's doing something now, let's give them the support they need and plan on, actually electing a candidate by the people.
And I was also talking about matriarchal societies, which is exactly the polar opposite of what we have now. If we had a right-thinking woman or right-thinking women in politics right now or in positions of leadership, you would see exactly the opposite going on. All the money would be going towards everything it's needed. You know, homelessness, you name it, infrastructure, food, everything that they screwed up on purpose since the beginning.
Right. Well, hey, what a dream ticket. Jesse Ventura riding a Harley with Elizabeth Warren on the back seat, okay? Yeah. Riding, up to Washington.
Okay.
Okay, I think everybody would agree that would be a start. That would be a start. It's not a perfect cure, but it would be a start. And then firing every single one of those clowns that sits on the Supreme Court. Okay?
Not only firing them. Oh, I'd like to put everybody up there on minimum wage. Minimum wage.
Minimum wage. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're in trouble during this period of time.
Yes.
And I'm not joking. Please, look for the alternate media to give you some truth, and try to protect the alternate media. That's the only, microphone we have now. Okay, with what's really going on.
And it's that much more of an honor, Greg, to do the shows together with you. And I can't thank you enough. And that said, we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Update, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Luca. Thank you to our listeners. All right. And let's hear that chat room going.